Good morning, everyone. I'm Thena Berry, and I'll be your service coordinator today. Jesse is our Zoom host, and Sandy is joining us at GNUC to light the chalice and candles. Today, we're doing something a little bit different. We're going to have an interactive service, and this is our opportunity to practice our covenant together. What an interactive service is as we go through it, you'll have some opportunities to share some of your thoughts via the annotation piece, and Jesse will talk to us about that in a little bit. And again, this is our opportunity to be in covenant together and practice our covenant. Our chalice lighting today is called Soul Lifts by Reverend Tess Baumberger. Wouldn't it be great if we walked around surrounded by our souls so that they were the first things people saw? Imagine no more racism, ageism, sexism, fadeism, shortism, or homophobia. Imagine falling in love with who a person is just by looking at them. Imagine people knowing you by your soul. Please join me in singing our opening hymn, Come, Come, Whoever You Are. And this time we have it performed by the Brother Sun.
This is one that you know. Come, come, whoever you are, wanderer, worshiper, lover of the evening. Ours is no caravan of despair. Come, yet again, come. Come, come, whoever you are, wanderer, worshiper, lover of the evening. Ours is no caravan of despair. Come, yet again, come. Come, come, whoever you are, wanderer, worshiper, lover of the evening. Ours is no caravan of despair. Ours is no caravan of despair. Ours is no caravan, whoever you are, wanderer, worshiper, lover of the evening. Ours is no caravan of despair. Ours is no caravan, lover of the evening. Ours is no caravan, whoever you are, wanderer, worshiper, lover of the evening. Ours is no caravan of despair. Ours is no caravan, lover of the evening. Ours is no caravan of despair. Come, yet again, come.
I just love that hymn. To me, it's just really wonderful to invite everybody in. And it's a reminder that that's who we are. Although we are still physically distancing, know that GNUC is here to support you. You can reach out when you need her, if you want her, to our Reverend Minister, Reverend Cynthia Kane, as you might need. And you can see how to reach out to her on the screen. So, Unitarian Universalism, we have no shared creed. What we have is a covenant instead. A couple of your leaders have the opportunity to be in a leadership class that we took yesterday, and we'll continue over the next couple of months. And I wanted to tell you just a little bit about some of the things that we talked about. We talked about Unitarian Universalism as a covenantal faith. And we talked about two different types of covenant. That's behavioral covenant, which is how we want to be with each other. And we talked about that in terms of day language, and that's, to do kind of speak. And then we talked about aspirational covenants, and that's night language. That's more poetry, and that's how we want to build a better world. And one of the things that they encouraged us to do was in our imaginations, as we're thinking about what our covenant, our aspirational covenant is to be audacious about the world we want to see. And that really is something that we all can imagine together. In the meantime, let's talk about the covenant that we have right now. Our covenant is an inclusive covenant, and it's about how we want to embrace a free and responsible search for truth and meaning within multiple philosophies and beliefs, and we unite under our shared covenant. And please join me in reading our covenant as you see fit. We covenant together to make a welcoming community, to walk together in the way of truth and love, to seek the life of the Spirit as it is known by each person, to support each other in thought, word, and deed as we work to build a better world. Apparently, my kitty Zane really wants to be with us today. So let's join Zane in singing this next hymn, One Voice.
This is the sound of one voice, one spirit, one voice, the sound of one who makes a choice. This is the sound of one voice. This is the sound of one voice. This is the sound of voices too. The sound of me that's singing with you, helping each other to make it through. This is the sound of voices too. This is the sound of voices too. This is the sound of voices three, singing together in harmony, surrendering to the mystery. This is the sound of voices three. This is the sound of voices three. This is the sound of all of us, singing with love and the will to trust. Leave the rest behind, it'll turn to dust. This is the sound of all of us. This is the sound of all of us. This is the sound of one voice, one people, one voice, a song for every one of us. This is the sound of one voice. This is the sound of one voice.
Our time for all sages today will be shown for us by Jesse.
Hi there. I'd like your help in a project. So the project that I'd like to undertake is I'd like to build a table. So I want to build a table out of this, and I want to make sure that it's solid, a table that can hold things, a table that I can build things on. So I'm gonna start with these little pieces right here, and this is my first attempt. So I'm gonna put there. I'm gonna try to carefully balance. This is not working at all.
Hey, Jesse, I think you need to put a couple more in there.
Okay, all right. I'm gonna put a couple more. All right, that's crooked. Maybe some more. Okay,
Yeah, that should do it.
much better. Okay, now I'm gonna try it.
Uh,
This is not good. All right, okay, almost. No, this is not good.
What would happen if you spread them out a little bit?
All right. I'm gonna spread these out. Okay. So now I've spread them out. All right. Now I'm ready to go. So in order to build this table, I needed a foundation. I needed a solid foundation to put everything on. And for us, that foundation is trust. And then I needed to have a way to support all of this work and all this stuff that I wanted to do. And these pieces are us. In our congregation, it's the members of our congregation. And a congregation is not a good foundation to build other things on if there are too few. It doesn't even work if you have a lot of people, if everyone is exactly the same and close by. Instead, what you really want to have is a congregation where people are different, where they're spread out. And now you have the foundation where you can do work and build things. So thank you for helping me build my table. I'd like to thank you for helping build GNUC. I'd like to thank you for each being a part of all the differences that make us strong.
Thank you, Jesse. My favorite part about that is it really demonstrated that song that we just had, the one voice. One voice wasn't enough to hold up that table. We needed more voices, and then we need to spread them out so that we become one voice again. We get to have another song now. We're going to hear a song called Good Enough. No, I promise we will.
We will.
My hands are strong enough, they're strong enough, and I'm good enough. My hands are strong enough to give love. I know that my arms are long enough, they're long enough, and I'm good enough. My arms are long enough to give love. I know that my heart is wide enough, it's wide enough, I'm good enough. My heart is wide enough to give love. I know that my light is bright enough, it's bright enough, I'm good enough. My light is bright enough to give love. And my heart is wide enough to give love. I know that my arms are long enough to give love. My hands are strong enough to give love. Uh-oh. What problem is this? Not a problem at all. We fix.
Just love her spirit. So that song was about reminding us that each individual is enough as they are. This month's Share the Plate organization is Open Table Nashville. This is a nonprofit interfaith community that disrupts cycles of poverty, and journeys with marginalized and peoples and provides education about issues of homelessness. We have a short video about one of their projects. Go ahead, Jesse.
To watch a collaborative of faith communities and corporations and individuals and all sorts of folks come together to say that we want to do this, to say we believe in this. That is a miracle that people are willing to do that.
I'm just so impressed with the tiny homes that are planned for the village, and especially that it's designed for those, especially who are medically vulnerable. We know that this will save lives. The average lifespan in the United States is around 80 years old. The average lifespan of someone who is on the street, or the average age of death for someone on the street, is around 50 years old. So they lose 30 years of meaningful life because of homelessness.
We have a housing crisis in Nashville. We have a housing crisis for low resource populations, people who are not affluent, that need homes. We do not have medical respite in town for our medically fragile Nashvillians who are experiencing homelessness. We know that housing is health care, and having a safe place to lay your head is an important part of healing, and that's why this is important to me.
When we're in survival mode, we know that we don't heal in those spaces. And so to be able to provide space very specifically for folks who are at a high risk of dying on the streets because of their medical vulnerabilities, this is the right thing to do.
I see the future for the village being very bright. Glencliff is a bright light in and of itself. Engaging this community, restoring dignity to at a minimum 22 people will provide a light that will glow throughout the city.
It's pretty overwhelming when somebody will say yes to you in such a big way that they don't even have to see it, and they trust in your vision and they trust in the work that's happening in Open Table Nashville. To know that finally it's happening, and that people that we love will be able to thrive and not just survive. That people will know that they are loved. They are loved.
One of my favorite things about GNUUC and about being a Unitarian is that we really
To watch a collab.
We truly live our covenant, to work towards building a better world. And we have the opportunity to do that through how we share our plate. There are multiple ways that you can donate, and you see those different ways on the screen there. You can go to NashvilleUU.org, click donate, and choose the amount, the account, share the plate, or pledge. You can text to the number on your screen, and there are examples of how to do that as well. And I ask that you give as generously as you are able. Now we're going to hear another song, Room at the Table by Carrie Newcomer.
Let our hearts not be hardened to those living on the margins. There is a room at the table for everyone. This is where it all begins. This is how we gather in. There is room at the table This is how it all begins. There is a room at the table for everyone. There is room for us all, and no gift is too small. There is room at the table for everyone. There's enough if we share. Come on, pull up a chair. There is room at the table for everyone. No matter who you are, no matter where you're from, there is a room at the table for everyone. Here and now we can be the beloved community. There is a room at the table for everyone. There is room for us all, and no gift is too small. There is room at the table for everyone. There's enough if we share. Come on, pull up a chair. There is room at the table for everyone. Room for us all, and no gift is too small. There is room at the table for everyone. There's enough if we share. Come on, pull up a chair. There is room at the table for everyone. Let our hearts not be hardened to those living on the margins. There is a room at the table for everyone. At the table. This is how we gather in. At the table for everyone. At the table. At the table. Everyone.
It just makes me smile. So at this point, I want to encourage you guys to find a comfortable position. We're going to do some meditating together. I'm going to read for you a quote from Paul Roget as we gather together. Feel free to close your eyes if you are comfortable and get just relaxed. May remember when you share with me what is most important to you, that is where listening begins. When I show you that I hear you, when I say your life matters, that is where compassion begins. When I open the door to greet you, that is where hospitality begins. When I venture out to bring you to shelter, that is where love begins. When I risk my comfort to ease your suffering, when I act against hatred, violence, and injustice, that is where courage begins. When we experience the full presence of each other because of shared humanity, because of our differences, that is where holy gratitude begins. May this space be a table that is not complete until all are welcome. May this table be a space of beauty where together we create a series of miracles and where all that we share is sacred. May it be so.
This week, we saw what happens when a group of people all believe the same thing. In fact, in order to be in that group, you had to believe, unquestioning, no checks, no other perspective, just distrust and fear and hatred. Distrust in goodwill, fear of loss of privilege, hatred of others different from them. We tried to follow a different path here. We are non-creedal. We have a covenant instead. We seek truth. How much better when you explore in many different directions and ways at once. For this reason, we support and value each other because of our differences, not in spite of them. To be valued, however, first, you need to be seen. You do not need to participate in any or in all or certainly in any of the following activities. You might be surprised by some of what you see. Remember that this is the starting place for learning and for understanding. Remember that our task here is to see one another, not to persuade. Some of these activities will be fun, some will absolutely be silly, some will challenge you, some might make you angry. Remember to practice the covenant. Finally, we can't do justice and honor all of the diversity we hold within us. So please forgive me if I've left out something that is important to you. Let me know, and perhaps we can do this another time and be more inclusive. But let's start. We're going to practice a few fun ones first. It's going to be a little chaotic, and that's going to be fine. We're going to start with some examples. And what we're going to be doing here is we're all going to be participating. You might remember and have been part of services, either in this congregation or in others, where you have a service where you have people moving in the congregation. So everybody who's a theist, stand over here. You know, everyone who considers them an atheist, stand over here. We're going to do the same thing similar here, but the way that you would do it in Zoom. In order to do this, you might have to do something new that you've not done before in Zoom, and that's called annotate. So let me go ahead and I'm going to share my screen. I'm going to show you how to do some of these things. I'm going to ask you to practice doing them. So the first thing is that when I share my screen, you will likely see something like this if you're on a computer. If you're on an iPad or a pad or an iPhone, hold on, we're going to get to you too in just a moment. But if you're on a computer, if you move your mouse around a little bit, you'll probably see something like this. And one thing that you might notice actually is that you also have the ability to click on something here. I'm going to go ahead and point to it as a matter of fact. And it is right here. It says annotate. So you see right here, annotate. Now what you're going to do is you're going to click on that. And when you click on that, then another menu is going to pop up. Another menu is going to be your annotation menu. So what I'm going to ask you to do is, if you're on a computer, to do this right now on the screen that we're sharing right now, go ahead and click that annotate, and then go ahead and bring up that other menu. I'm going to ask you to click on, here I'm going to ask you to click on stamp. So this is the stamp right here. I'm using the stamp as a matter of fact. And then go ahead and choose a color for your stamp. Then what you'll be able to do is do exactly like I'm doing right now, which is to put a marker directly on the screen for other people to see. There you go. Excellent. You've gotten started with it already. Now I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to, if you are unsure how to do this, go ahead and put a note in the text in chat, or you can unmute yourself and ask a question. So everyone go and take a moment, see if you can put a mark up there. Great. And go ahead and put in chat if you're having some trouble, and we're going to help you out. When you tap annotate, it doesn't respond, Doug. Okay. It's possible that for some of you, you might be running an older version of the client. And if you're unable to do it, and if you really want to participate, then what you can do is you'll have to hop off for just a moment, but you can go to your Zoom window and go to settings and click update. But if not, okay, so we have a lot of those. Now let's show you how to do it on a pad. So now what we want to do is we want to get people who are on iPads or on iPhones and get you the ability to do this as well. So I'm going to, Karen, if you have yours, your iPad, Karen's going to help me out here. Okay. Oh, you're not on the Zoom service yet? Okay, great. We'll come back to you in just one moment then. So on an iPhone, it's going to, or an iPad, it's going to look something like that. And when you touch the screen, you're going to notice on the very bottom, there's a little, on the lower left, there's going to be a little indicator there, which is, hold on, let me go ahead and make sure that my screen is sharing. And it will allow you then to do almost the same thing. And Karen, you can let me know when you're ready. You ready? Okay, great. Okay. So, what else is sharing stopped? Let's see. I'm going to go ahead and restart the sharing. One quick moment. Okay, good. Now we should be ready. Okay, great. So now you're going to tap the screen and you should see a little marker there, and there you can touch the marker, and then you can do arrow. That's a good way to do it, and choose your color, and you do almost the same thing. Okay? So again, go ahead and in chat, go ahead and mention if you're having any trouble, and Karen will try to help you out in chat. Okay, good. It looks like we're all set. Let's go and get started then. So here's the first one. I'm going to go ahead and clear all the annotations. Okay. My question to you, first of all, is where are you? Where do you stand? Are you an extrovert or an introvert? Okay. I'm going to give myself a blue star. So, oh, I want to be a blue star. I guess I'm a gold star. So I'm actually personally over, oh, looks like we had them all cleared. I am much more introvert than I am extrovert, which might surprise people because I just find myself, I can certainly be an extrovert, act like an extrovert, but primarily I'm an introvert. All right, now let's go ahead, go to the next one. Early, on time, or late. Do you find yourself going to places early, on time, or late? So some people are very, very early. All right, so I have to ask this person who is the red X here, if you'd like to, feel free to share, or anybody here in the way over there, who's the furthest over? Anybody who would like to unmute yourself?
That would be me.
Oh, that is you, Karen?
I am me.
You are me.
I have to worry about being late. Doug?
I am too. I always figure time is longer than what it is. So that's why I'm late. I always think, oh, 15 minutes, that's going to be a long time. And
I love it.
Time is irrelevant.
You're right.
All right, let's go on to the next one then. Okay, now, coffee or tea or both? So if you have no cups of coffee, you're over here. If you have no cups of tea, you're up here. Oh, so definitely no cups of coffee. And then we have a few folks that are highly caffeinated over here. I noticed that the little gold star to the lower left here is vibrating just a little bit. Highly, highly caffeinated. Now, one thing that I'm going to do here is I'm going to, all right, good. So we have a lot of diversity here in how much coffee we want to have. You see, I think that people assume that UUs are always going to be over here. Isn't that the story of UUs, that we live for coffee? But it looks like it's not quite the truth. All right, let's go and clear this off, and let's go to the next one. How many siblings do you have? I have 2 on the gold star, so I'm about right here. So it looks like around 4 siblings, okay. Oh, so somebody here has a lot of siblings, way over here. So we come from big families, we come from small families. All right. Let's go on to the next one. What kind of friends do you have? Do you have fewer friends but deeper relationships, or do you have lots of friends and deeper relationships, or are they more acquaintances, or what does it look like? So fewer friends.
So Jesse, on this one, there are 4 quadrants. Is that correct?
So this is how it goes, right? So if you have a lot of friends, but they're sort of a little bit more acquaintances, so you have lots of people that you're friendly with, you might be up here to the upper right. But if you have a lot of friends and you're dear, dear friends with all of them, which is time intensive, so kudos to you, then you're down here. And it's okay, of course, to be anywhere on here.
Where are you?
Right here.
I don't know.
I'm.
Hi, Teresa.
Hey, hi. I have.
I'm really impressed by the people who have lots of friends and deeper relationships, and how you find time to do that.
My screen choice went away. I can't do any of these.
Oh, your choice went away? Where would you be on this one, Susan?
I would have fewer friends with deeper relationships.
With deeper relationships, yep. I think I'm there with you, although I consider all of you all my friends, so I'm a little bit torn. That is one thing you can do. You can put stars in multiple places. All right, let's go on to the next one. Now let's talk a little bit about our beliefs. So here, atheist, belief in no God. Theists believe in a God or more, one or more gods. Agnostic, meaning you're 100% sure that you cannot be sure. Gnostic being you believe that you could be 100% sure. So this is, you don't believe that you can be sure. Gnostic means absolutely certain. So this is uncertain to certain, and this is atheist to theist. So for example, you could be an atheist and be 100% sure there is no God. Or you could be 100% certain that there is a God, and you'd be on the upper right.
Actually, I think if you're 100% sure that there is a God, you're a Gnostic theist. If you think there is a God, but you're not 100% sure, you'd be an agnostic theist, right?
Yep.
Oh, well, I don't know what I'm an agnostic.
Well, now here's the other thing which I've not mentioned before, which is you see this down here. It says, I don't see myself. You can park yourself right there and say, you know what? I'm not even playing this game. I'm not even on the board.
Well,
Is there anybody who, I need to take myself off of there. I'm going to clear my drawing. Anybody down here by I don't see myself here?
I'm down there, but I can't figure it out.
Oh, that's fine.
I'm definitely an agnostic atheist.
Yep. Agnostic atheist. So uncertain, but current evidence, almost like the magic ball, right? Currently says unsure.
I don't know that I don't know what I don't know.
And
Look at the split here. I think we're furthest apart on this than on anything.
which is fine. This might also be sort of there's something called an artifact, a statistical artifact, and people tend to think in a binary way, especially about theist and atheist. So that divide between the two may be more of an artifact of how we think about it than actually how we are. But it shows that actually we have a lot of difference here. Sometimes people who are atheists sort of assume, well, everyone really here is an atheist, can. And sometimes theists, will say, well, everyone here believes as I do. And then you have this other dimension that people sometimes don't think about, it is how certain are you? But look at this. Look at how well supported our table is. We're all the way around here. In the dot of my mother's heart. I love that. Well, actually, I'm going to screen cap this because I love this. I'm going to save that before we move on. I can't.
Is that the universalism of UUism? Yeah, that's right. You're right.
All right, now, if you were in the theist side, let's go on to the next one then. If you're in the theist side, where do you fall here? Or do you not fall anywhere? And do you need to put yourself over here? I don't see myself. So for those of you who are willing to share on the I don't see myself, what would you add to this list and so you could be represented?
I don't know. I'd add anything to the list. For me, my faith is, I don't think there's a term for it. And I
Yeah.
don't think it's appropriate.
Well, I lean toward Buddhism. I don't believe it's a theistic religion, though.
Yeah. You can tell I'm greatly oversimplifying here. There are theologians who are just racing to my house right now to pull the cursor, to pull the mouse out of my hands.
Yeah.
So Charles, you're not able to put your sticker on here. Would you want to share where you put your sticker if you could? And you don't have to if you don't want to.
You don't understand this very well. Other could be atheist.
Yeah.
Is that what that means?
Well, actually, yeah. So what I did was on the previous one, it said if you're sort of in the theist or closer to the theist, then where would you be?
And I'll sit this one out.
I have a mixed bag. I've studied all of these, and I kind of take bits and pieces of each and every one into what my theism is all about. I agree with Barbara.
Same. And Mary looked like she had a really good suggestion there, and that is to add pantheism.
Ah, yes. That was my old religion there.
Well, that would be other.
Yeah, more the other, yeah, too.
Yeah, and it's important for us to call these things out too, because often other gets confused with a garbage bin, right? But but pantheism absolutely it can be a deeply held belief.
I'm interested in the comment, God as a human construct.
Yeah, that's true too.
Who considers himself a theist believes God is a human construct.
Yeah.
That's fascinating.
Well, I always felt that if aliens came down and saw Christ on the cross, they would wonder what kind of strange people we are.
Yes. I find that I have these evolutions in my life. I developed Christian at one time, and then temporarily for a day or two an atheist, and then a deist with pantheistic leanings, and then something else, and then believing in Buddhism. But it's all evolving, and I don't want to turn my back on, like, for my Methodist Christianity was very good. It was not judgmental. It wasn't hateful.
Yours is a path. So a lot of these are sort of snapshots of where people are right now, but we can sort of think of all of these as perhaps drifting and changing and reappearing at different times over our lives.
I can honestly say that I have not changed in over 6 decades. Since before I entered first grade, I think I've known that I didn't know the terms, but that I was an agnostic atheist. That's not ever wavered one bit in decades.
I'm in the camp of Native American religion.
Ah,
Earth-centered.
Wonderful. So any others any other comments? Anybody over here in the I don't see myself of things that we would want to sort of think about and to add? All right, then let me go ahead and clear these. Let's go to the next. So this is just what the world is. So Christianity, Islam, no religion, 16%. This is from a 2015 Pew Research Center. No religion is climbing. This is kind of what it looks like in these. These have been the categories they've been using for a while. All right. Yeah, so we look different from the world, which is fine. All right, so we've talked about religion. Now we can get into difficult topics, challenging topics. Remember your covenant.
Somebody's voting more than once.
Somebody's voting more than once. I'm going to put myself right here. I have loved both cats and dogs.
Me too, but I have cats.
But very allergic to cats. Karen had 2 cats that were wonderful. Just one very sweet, one very, very smart when we first started to date. And they were older cats. And the idea was, just marshal on through, even though I was asthmatic and spent pretty much, wheezing whenever I was around them, but loved them dearly. These were the longest lived cats I have ever known. It was lovely having them around for how many years?
18.
18 years old.
Oh my God.
We're 19.
Well, Doug lived with my cat Alice until she was 21, and he went through 3 years of allergy.
She was precious.
And Doug, I've muted you, but you can unmute yourself whenever you need. All right, I'm going to go and clear this. I have a question, though, so I don't see myself. If the person who's there would like to share.
Yeah, hi, Jesse. It's Scott. Not a real big fan of cats or dogs. I don't mind having pet fish, though.
Ooh.
I like dogs. Where with dogs?
Yeah. You see one up here, sometimes things people beat with a shovel in the garden. I know this is Karen because this is how a neighbor once referred to the pets that we had, because we had snakes and we had rats and we had, what else did we have?
Yeah, that's big.
We also had pet worms. Laurel was big into lots of different types of pets.
We did have bats, but they weren't really pets. They were
The bats just visited, yes.
Had 2 mice, Amos and Twinkie, and 3 parakeets, several goldfish over the years, but mainly dogs. But my daughters are mainly cat people. I mainly like dogs.
All right, let's move on to the chickens. Oh, that's fun.
I don't have any as pets, but that's my favorite animal.
Absolutely. All right, I'm going to clear these drawings and go on to the next one. So, piercings and tattoos. You don't have any. If you don't have either, then you can be down here. If you have, yep.
Wait a minute. These should not be on the same thing.
My older atheist daughter said, if there is a God, if he had wanted me to have holes in my ears, he would have made me that way. Okay.
So we have some tattoos, some piercings. So for the person who has lots of tattoos, what is your if you care to share, what is your favorite tattoo?
I don't have a tattoo.
And what's your favorite one that you have? Oh, good.
They may not want to share.
And that's just fine. That's a story in itself. That's great.
I do have to say that calling pierced ears piercings sounds way more cool than I think of pierced ears.
Yeah. Yeah.
I have 6, which some of you may already know. I've been with my son Kinsey all of those 6 times for our big bonding sessions. They're all very meaningful. My first one was a very small flaming chalice with a 8th note for the flame, since I'm music director. And then I have a musical theater one, and I have a cartouche spelling my name. I have a cardinal. I have fish making 13 for my Pisces March 13 birthday. But I think my favorite, and it goes with this month's theme of imagination, is a musical staff with the first 13 notes of John Lennon's Imagine, which is my favorite song. And it has some flowers on it. It says Imagine underneath. So, and I have 3 holes in each ear, 3 piercings in each ear. That's it.
That's a lot.
That's there.
Hero.
Should be in the top right corner then.
Yeah, you really belong in the top one.
I remember back when oh my gosh, tattoos were just something, it was the Marine Corps or mother or, your girlfriend in a heart, and that was it. Oh, but there's so much more creativity with tattoos now.
Absolutely. You're right. They're much more accepted than they were.
Yeah.
Speak for yourself.
Whoops.
Oh, shoot. Oh, well.
Go ahead.
Yeah, it popped off. Let me go. I need to share it again. Let's move on to after the marches. So where do you follow? Have you ever been? And this is across your life. How many marches or demonstrations have you been part of?
15.
Mine won't register now. Huh.
Who's counting?
Right. How do you count?
Weird.
Nancy, you may need to go back and add annotation in again.
Weird. It just suddenly dropped.
So we have, and again, you have way over there. We have a lot of diversity here. Of a lot of us are out, and a lot of us are are serving in different ways, or working or supporting in different ways. I think that sometimes when we say, oh, we're going to do the Women's March, or we're going to do this march, we sort of say, well, of course, everyone's going to be going out, but not everyone does. It's a big thing to go out with a bunch of people, and not everyone can do that or is comfortable doing that. And let's go on to the next one. Democrat, Republican. So this one's tricky because it's a lot more subtle than this. Could you vote for a Republican? You know,
I have.
you have.
Uh-huh.
I know in
One
Tennessee.
time.
Mhm.
One
Go ahead.
time.
One time.
I voted for Nixon back in 1960, if you can believe that.
I voted for Reagan.
Biggest mistake of my life.
Karen, when during one of her first voting, voted like her parents and voted for Reagan the first time, not the second time, I think. Yeah. So a lot more diversity here than we assume. We tend to assume that we are all Democrats, but it's tough, right? Because Democrat really doesn't describe everything.
Oh, I think we see.
Yep. Well, let's go ahead and see. Let's go ahead and look at another dimension now. Okay, so we can't assume we're all Democrats. It's not true. So let me go ahead and clear all the drawings. Now let's talk about sort of the economic side, and then we're going to do both of these together. Socialist, capitalist.
I'm to the left of center, is all I can say.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm closer to socialism.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I like Bill Maher's approach, capitalism plus.
Absolutely. All right. Democratic socialist.
Yeah,
I mean, I don't care to have everything owned by the government. At the same time, I don't want everything owned by the capitalists. So,
Right.
yeah, capitalism with regulations.
Well, this is interesting. We're not all over on one side, and capitalism has raised the standard of living. All true. So let's go and take a look at a little bit more nuanced view, and this may be something that you're interested in looking at. There's something called politicalcompass.org, and the idea here is a little bit more nuanced here. So let me describe what this is.
Oh, I might have done that. When I hit stop participating, I think I
Okay. Okay, I was wondering why that was happening. Yeah. So I'm sorry, let me describe what these are. So the economic axis is left and right. So how the economy should be run. Left is desire of the economy to be run by a cooperative collective agency. That could mean the state, that could mean a network of something like communes, while the right is desire for the economy to be left to the devices of competing individuals and organizations. The libertarian authoritarian is the amount of personal freedom that one should allow. Libertarianism, belief that personal freedom should be maximized, while authoritarianism is defined the belief that authority should be obeyed.
Yeah.
This one's tough.
I'm in the middle between authoritarian and libertarian, and I'm a little left of that.
Yeah.
Like other people too.
Me too.
Over there. Yep. Libertarians.
So what this tells us is that we need to be especially careful when we're listening or thinking about people who are in these other areas, because we don't have a good understanding of them. So that means whenever we're talking with somebody who is more along the lines of libertarian, especially right libertarian, we're gonna have to, or authoritarian, right authoritarian, we may not understand where they're coming from. So we're not all the same, and really, how much better and stronger are we when we invite and celebrate differences and when we learn from one another? And I believe that this is the heart of UUism, you know, the covenant, the strength of the difference, the strength in diversity. This is a lesson which is worthy of reminding ourselves of, and it's a lesson worthy of being shared with the world that desperately needs it. May it be so.
Wade in the water.
Um, I don't know that we're going to be able to have that song. I'm really sad about that. Wade in the Water was chosen because we wanted to remind people that even though there are differences between us, we are all part of the same stream. And it's an invitation to go ahead and get to know people on a different path than you are. That helps us build alignment together and helps us be in community together. Are you going to try again, Jesse? Or do you want to move forward? Let's go ahead and move forward. Now is the time in the service when we have the opportunity to share our joys and concerns. Thank you to those of us who joined us on YouTube. Jesse, our Zoom host, will now turn off our YouTube stream. To share during this time, use the hand raise icon in Zoom or wave your hand in your Zoom window. We'll begin with the folks on video, then move to folks without video. Sandy Blands is in our sanctuary to light candles for us as well. Jesse, I'm getting feedback from your mic as well. Okay. Is there anyone that would like to share a joy or concern today? I see Susan Minking.
I just wanted to share that my older daughter lost her life partner of 24 years to COVID day before yesterday. And it's been very difficult. She was in this May-December relationship for 24 years, and it was just wonderful for both of them. They did everything together, and we were on Zoom for 2 full days with her and all of her friends and neighbors and their kids and his kids and so on, trying to support her in this time of need. And I just wanted to show a picture of the two of them that was taken maybe about 15 years ago. And his name was Roger Anderson. He was a PhD geology professor at the University of New Mexico. Great guy. 93 years old.
Sandy is lighting a candle for your concern, and thank you for sharing that. My heart goes to them. Is there anyone else that would like to share?